everyone. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move into the California dashboard, LP progress. So November 14th, the California dashboard updated, and we have now the colors, right, for ELA, for math, and for our English learners, and thinking about LP progress in the LPAC. So as we go through this section here, I want you to think about the connection that the California dashboard has and the information that's on there, and how it connects to the work that you're doing now that you're living in now with the SPSA, because it's a data piece that you're considering and looking at as you think about the your strategies, right, and implementation plan, and how this also connects to your PDSA cycle at your school sites. As a district, we have a lot to celebrate. So our district is performing at a green level on the California dashboard. We have made great progress. So as you can see here for our English learners, we made 51% or 52% of our students are making progress within the LPAC, an increase of 4.1%. And for our English learners, I'm sorry, our LTELs as well, there has been progress for our students, an increase of 8.8. So a big congratulations to you, because this is the work that you do at your school site. And just overall as a district, right, we are actually have greater gains than the state itself. So congratulations to you all and the work that you are doing. And what we're going to be doing now is that we are going to give you an opportunity to actually look at the LP levels at your school site, and start thinking about the work that you're going to be doing to ensure that you continue to make progress. So what I'm going to do at this moment is I'm actually going to go live just to walk you through where you can get this information for your school site. Okay. So I'm just going to, in the presentation itself, the link is there. I just Googled California dashboard, and it takes you to the actual website. Okay. So once you're here, you are going to put in the name of your school. So I'm going to put in, and I don't know if our designee from Gage is here. I'm going to put them on there. It's a school that I support. I'm all coach there. So Gage, and I'm going to do Gage Middle School. So here, right, you see information for all of the components that you get a color for. Okay. The one that we are going to focus on is English learner progress. So you can see here just this overview, right? We can see that Gage Middle School is at green. So I'm going to click here, and this will take me down to, these are all the instructional pieces. There's ELA, there's math, and there's English learners. So I can see here again, this school, 47% of the students, English learners, are making progress. It's an increase of 13.6. Now, this school, all the secondary schools have an extra data piece. They have the long-term English learner progress. So middle schools and high schools will have two different colors, actually. They'll have an overall for all of their English learners, but then they also have a color for their long-term English learners. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on more details, and it's going to give me more information on the English learner progress indicator. So now here, again, you'll see this is the overall. So for all the English learners here at Gage Middle School, 47.1 are making progress. It tells you the increase here, and this gives you the number of students whose LP, right, is being considered, and they're at the green. If you click here, you'll see the state overall. So overall as a state, we're yellow. This particular school in comparison is at the green. So now I'm going to scroll down again. And then here, again, this is a secondary school. So you're going to see two different pieces of information here. You'll see the green that shows you that all English learners are at the green level. They're making progress. But for your English, for your LTELs, they're at the blue. Okay, so as you're working in your SPSA, this is something information that can be added. I will continue to scroll down, and again, here you see information about this is overall for all English learners at the school site. If I click on this one here, this is my information for LTEL students. Okay, if I continue to scroll down. Here we see information levels. So students decrease a level 4, and then who progressed at least one level. And so here you'll see various school years that are being represented, and you'll see the color coding here and the percentage here. So this particular school, it'll show, right, we have 8.6% who decreased to level, 44.1 who maintained a 1 to L to H and further on. So you'll see that.
Pero, here, pause. We have 2 questions about if they don't see any colors, what does that mean?
Oh, I'll talk about that.
Okay, and also if they have less than 30 students, how do they figure out their, how do they get the information they have fewer than 30 students that are ELs at their school site?
Yeah, we'll go over that.
Okay, okay.
And then this year, which was not included last year, is that now summative alternate LPAC information is part of the calculation on whether or not your school made progress or not when it comes to the LPAC. So it includes the summative alternate LPAC as well. Okay, so all this information is here for you. If you want to get even more information about the school and how it's doing when it comes to the actual calculation of things, then you would go here where it says view additional reports. And here now you're going to have the 5x5 placement. So here, because I'm only focusing on the English learner progress placement, then I'm just going to click on that. As you work on your SPSA, right, you have chronic absenteeism, your college and career placement, ELA. So you can click on various ones if you like, but I'm just focusing on the English learner progress placement report. So I check that off and I'll click submit. And so now here we have the 5x5. So when you're working on your goals for your SPSA, it mentions, right, if you were at a level, if you're at a red or an orange, you have to write an objective for your school. So when you look at the colors, this is what they mean, right? So you might have been at a level red where you had declined significantly the year before. You're still red, but you may have maintained, right? Or you may have been in the red, but you actually increased to an orange. So this gives you a view as to whether, again, you declined, maintained, or increased, and this is by level. So if I go back to gauge and I look at the English learner section, so they're at the green, they increased.
Pero, I'm going to pause you really quick. They want to know, how did you get there? If you could just take them back and yeah, thank you.
Once you're here, you'll notice up here next to the school name, you'll see view additional reports. Okay, you're going to click on view additional reports. And then here you have you get to choose the 5x5 placement report that you want to focus on. So I clicked on the English Learner Progress Placement Report, and then I scroll down and I click Submit. And then that's where I get this this placement here. Let me go.
Yes. Okay, so let's pause. Let's give them a chance to do it, and thumbs up when you guys have it, or put in the chat. That way we can move forward. It's because Vero's expert level 700. So we all have to kind of slow down. Good question. How many students are required to have data?
You need 30 or more.
30 or more.
So while you're getting this, do I have a
volunteer of a school that does not have a color that I can look up just to walk people through that one?
Rosemont.
Rosemont? Okay. So as you're looking for your schools, I'm going to go back to and look up Rosemont. Rosemont Avenue Elementary. So here's an example of a school that does not have a color. I clicked on it and I'm here. So even though Rosemont does not have a color, they will still give you information on whether your school is making progress or not, or an increase. Okay, so I'm going to click here, view more details. So this school, again, has no color. You have no color at Rosemont, but the students who tested, there's 28. So again, if you have less than 30 students, it's not going to give a color. Okay. But you still get 85.7% of your students did make progress, even though there's no color attached. That was an increase of 26.9. Okay, so again, when you're rating your SPSA and it asks for the performance level color, you don't have to add that, but you can still add that your school is making progress, and then you can annotate the increase. And so again, there's no color here. You still get the information. You still get the percentage of students who made progress, or made progress or not. And then it gives you here your summative alternate LPAC information as well. Okay, so this is, although you don't have a color, this school still provides information as to who made progress and the percentage of students that made progress. Okay.
Now, let's say you're at a
school site where you do not have a color, you do not have making progress either, then that's probably because you have less than 11 students. So if there's 11 students or less who took the summative LPAC last year, or you might be at a primary center where you only have kindergarten, so you probably don't have the comparison of 2-year scores. So for these schools, what you would do is that you would have to look up individual LPAC score, not individual, school-wide LPAC scores within whole child. In whole child, you're able to see the LPAC scores, the percentage of students who scored a 4, percentage of students who scored a 3, percentage of students who scored a 2, and then the percentage of students who scored a 1. And that would be the piece that you would add to your SPSA. Okay.
We have questions in the chat, Vero.
Okay.
Okay, so one of them says that, Nicolette, what school are you at so we can look it up live? It says that she has 11 students when she actually had 70-ish ELs last year.
Well, Patty, sorry to interrupt, but she just
Okay.
answered it. It's
Oh.
because we don't have comparative data because we only have kindergarten. Sorry about
Thank
that.
you. Okay, great. Yes, so that was my question in the chat. The message was like, did they all test last year? Because you need 2 years to compare. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. And then we had another question about state. Elvia, could you unmute yourself and ask your question? Because I lost my chat, but she had a question about all students and state or something.
Yeah, just if you can, you clicked on the color, on the groups, there's a state and there's all students. If you can just speak to that and what the difference is.
let me go back to,
Yeah,
you
like
mean
under
this one
you.
here, all students
Yes,
in state? So for
yes.
this one, this tells you for all students, this represents the data for your school site. Okay. And then the state one is the state of California. So in comparison to, let's say this school, even though it doesn't have a performance color, right? At this particular school, 85.7% of students are making progress. They increased 27% versus the state of California. The state of California had 46% of their students are making progress. So this school, a lot more of their kids are making progress versus the state of California. And then in the state of California, only 0.7% of students maintained. There was no increase. There was overall in the state of California. So this just this one, all students gives you information about your school. And then this is just the comparison for the state of California. Okay. Did that answer your question? Okay.
Oh, Vero, no one can stump you. You're awesome. Okay. I think we need some processing here because you said a lot. So if you guys could chime in the chat, one new thing that you learned or something that you're still wondering about in this piece, because it's so important. You guys are writing your SPSAs, and this is going to come in handy. So one thing you learned or a question you might have in the chat, please.
Yeah, I saw it. I'm going to answer her question. Yeah. To gauge. So there's a question about, oh wait, this is LUSD. Yes. Okay. So going back to the information and the added information, right, that's available to you, the other reports. So when you look at the 5x5 placement, there's different. So when you look at the level of this tells you where the school is currently. Okay, so let's say, for example, if I'm looking at the ELPI data for the school site, the ELPI data for the school site, we have, so this particular school is at a 47.1% of students making progress. So 47.1. So if I look, I start off here on the left-hand side column. So I have, they're at the medium level, right? 47. So here, because it lies between 45 and 54. So this is where I'm starting here on the left. And so now I'm moving towards the right. Okay. So looking at the progress that they made. So going back here, they increased 13.6%. 13.6%. So you'll notice up here, this tells you depending on whether they declined. So let's say had they declined more than 10 points, then they actually would have been at the orange. Okay, so you start off, I'm hoping I'm making sense. So 47.1 are making progress. So if I'm looking here on my column on the left, 47% is here at the medium. But now as I move to the left, I'm moving to where I either declined, maintained, or increased. So this particular school increased 13.6%. So then I'm going to look at the headings up here. Did they decline 10? No. Did they decline 2 to 10 points? No. Did they maintain? No. They increased by 13. So therefore, it lies here because they had an increase of 10 points or more, and therefore they're at the green. Okay. So when you're looking at your 5x5, you're looking at left-hand side tells you where students are when it comes to making the progress. And as you move towards the right, it's whether they declined or maintained, and you're looking at the points that they either increased or declined by, and then that gives you the color for your school site. Okay, so this is just one more, another way, right, to look at. This is very important because when you're creating your goals for ELA, for math, for for ELD, and I believe for attendance, if you are at the red or the orange, so this is where we get it here, right? And then this tells you whether you declined or maintained, and then your current level. You have to set a goal. So how do I get to this? Again, when you're here, once you've selected your school, you click on View Additional Reports. You click on the placement report that you want to see, and then Submit, and then it'll take you to this one. Okay. And so now this is for, I'm not gonna have you focus on this, but I just want to show you this part for those of you who even want to go deeper into the data. You can click here, View Detailed Data. And then here you actually see like actual numbers for your students. And then what does this information mean to you? What you would do, you can download the information, and then it gives you this really nice spreadsheet. You'd have to look for your school. But if you want to see what all these different things mean, you would click here, ELPI record layout. And then this tells you by column what all those different numbers mean. Okay, so this is just for you. If you want to go even deeper into, right, what the numbers mean, how they figured it out, this tells you by column. So let's say in column 14, this is what that number means. Okay, so this is just extra information for you. If you decide to like go down this rabbit hole, that information is there for you. Okay, but the one you're focusing on again is this one, because this supports you with writing your goals. Okay, all right. With all this said, at this moment, what we're going to do now is that I'm going to give you an opportunity, and I think that some of you have already gone in and started looking at your data, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to start thinking about what were some of the things that you did at your school site, right, to get to the level that you are at, looking at the different data pieces. And then what refinements or shifts, what are you going to adapt, adopt, abandon to ensure that you are continuing to make progress in ELPI? So in the chat, I'm going to put an ELPI reflection template that you can use. The questions are there. So there's 4 questions that you're going to answer. What was the ELPI color at your school site? And what does it tell you about your current progress? What data points will you analyze to understand why your school is currently in this ELPI color? What strategies or systems contributed to the ELPI color that your school is in? And then what refinements or shifts are needed to move towards the ELPI color or to sustain blue if already achieved? Okay. I'm going to give you, I'm not going to do the 10 minutes only because there's other really important pieces that we have to get to. I'm going to give you 5 minutes, 5 minutes to reflect. Use your annotated template if you like to help support you in that. I'm going to put on the timer.
Just reply in the chat. Where are we replying?
Oh, I put in a link to a template. You can make
I
it's a 4th
see
copy.
that, but how do I do anything with it?
Oh, you're going to write on it, Daniel.
Oh, right. Of course.
Susan, I'll go over that. I'll go over the whole child.
everything else.
You know what? Let me make a forced copy. I just realized that. Give me 1 second.
Veronica, a quick question. Which one is the number that we plug into the placemat when I'm looking at the English learner progress? Because there's two numbers.
Yolanda, which two numbers are you referring to?
When I'm looking at the English learner progress, and
Mhm.
so I have two numbers, the 49.3 making progress and then increase 3%.
You would do both. So based on the California dashboard, 47.1% of students are making progress, an increase of 13.6%.
So, okay, so we would use that on the placemat. Okay, both of them.
Or, you know what, Yolanda, we're actually going to go into the SPSA, and there's a template that provides sentence sums for you. So I don't want to add to it, but we're actually going to go into that piece in a bit.
Perfect, thank you.
Mhm.
Academic performance. So
All right, so go ahead and finish your last thought on your document. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to go into a breakout room so you can discuss the information that we've gone over. Before we do that, though, because I know some of you were asking about whole child, and for those schools that don't have a color, and who do not have something that says whether whether students there was an increase or decrease, whatever it was. Okay. So for this, do I have a school? Is there a school who can volunteer that doesn't have any? They didn't have a color. They didn't have increase, decrease that we can look up in whole child. Bushnell, well, okay. All right. So for me, because I have district-wide access, there's an extra step for me because I have to look up the particular school. Okay. But when you log into whole child, you probably get something that looks like this. Okay. It gives you just general information about your school site. So what you need to do is here where it says dashboard, you'll click on that. And then these are all the different data pieces, right, that are available to you. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on ELPAC. ELPAC's this is where I'm going to get information on just ELPAC. Okay. So here we go. So now I'm going to filter. This is extra for me again, because I have district wide. So I'm going to select the school. So I'm going to click on both. Bushnell has two. So when you look up information, please ensure that because your SPSA, if you're at a school, if you have dual language, if you have a magnet, if your SPSA includes those schools, then please ensure that you click all of the schools, right, that are attached to your SPSA. That way you get an overview of what's happening at your school site. Okay, so it's filtering. So now this is current information. Okay, these are for the students, the students you have right now at your school site. If you are writing your SPSA, you need data for last school year. So you have to ensure that here where it says for the date in the filter data, I have to change the year. Okay, because I'm looking at last year's data. So I made sure to change to the 24-25 school year. This will include students that were enrolled at your school site last school year. So I'm going to wait for this to update itself. All right, here we go. So now you'll get to see where your students, there's a comparison, right, of where your students were at the beginning of the year, where they were at the end of the year. And this is what you're focusing on, end of year. So this is just, this is overall ELPAC performance level. So if you're at a school site, right, and you're focusing on the SPSA, you don't have ELPI data, this is where you're focusing on the end of year, the percentage of students who scored a 4, percentage of students who scored a 3, percentage of students who scored a 2, and then the percentage of students who scored a 1. And when we get into the SPSA feedback form, there's a sentence frame, an example of what that writing piece is going to look like. But this is where you would get, if you don't have ELPI data for your school site and you have to put in the ELPAC scores by level, this is where you would get your information from. Okay. Now this report, if I scroll down all the way to the bottom, this will give you ELPI data for your school site with just those students you had at your school site. Okay. So here you'll see the number in blue, the blue bar, and this goes for all schools. The blue bar tells you the number of English learners at your school site. Okay, so last year, Bushnell Way had 9 English learners at their school site. Okay, the orange bar tells you how many students have ELPI data. Okay, so out of the 9 students that were tested, 7 have 2 years of ELPAC data, and therefore we can see just the progress of ELPI for these students. So if I'm comparing data, so in the 2023-24 school year, 60% out of these 5 students, 60% made progress in the LPAC versus 24-25, you were at 86% of your students making progress. So there was an increase. Okay. So this is another a place that you would see ELPI data for those schools that don't have any information at your school site about and on the California dashboard. Okay. When it comes to your SPSA, though, we're going to go over this in the feedback form. For ELPI, you're not going to add this piece here. This is for you at your school site as you're meeting with your parents, as you're meeting with your teachers and discussing information. This is a data piece that you can discuss. But when it comes to the SPSA, we're focusing on something different, and we're going to go over that at a later time.
Vero,
Okay.
another a small school, I think is a continuation. They said that they don't even see a blue bar. They had 7 students. Could that be the reason why? Or
It could be. I have to check the school. I have to check the school, but that answer I don't know. I have to get back to you, Patrick, on that one. Okay. And then there's just general information here. This is really good information for you again as you go back. It differentiates by typology, newcomer, LTEL, PLTEL. This is again overall by grade level. So it gives you information of by grade level how your students did. It gives you by domain as well, listening, reading, writing, and reading, to support you with the focus when it comes to instruction. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do at this moment, I'm going to go back to the slide. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you some time. I know this was a lot of information that was provided to you. So we're going to send you into breakout rooms so you can have a discussion about the information that you heard. Also, if you want to discuss some of the 4 questions that you answered and sharing some of the best practices, something you're going to adapt, adopt, and abandon, you can have a discussion there as well. Okay. Any questions before you go into your the breakout room?